Satnam Aloha. So today I want to talk about the full moon that's coming up on May 12th, so very soon. And it's activating the 43rd gate. So this is what we'll go over in this video: the human design codes, the 43rd gate, which is the shadow of deafness, the gift of insight in the city of Epiphany. And then it's activating the 43rd 23 channel of structuring, also called the Freak to Genius channel. And then the electric eel medicine, and then the false energy grid versus the true energy grid. And then we'll talk about Pluto and Scorpios, designed to dismantle the old grid system. And then we'll do the Phoenix fractal reading and the twin flame messages, and then human design type messages. Okay. So here's the chart, and perhaps you have this channel activated yourself. The 4323 that you can see right here. So it's coming off the ajna, the 43, and then the throat chakra. So let's put things into context here, because this is a continuation of the energies that you've been working on. So if you've been following my channel, just the last couple of videos, you'll recognize this. So let's rewind. So you've been doing the deep work, especially around the channel of initiation, the 2551. And so this is leaps of faith, maybe going through a dark night of the soul, ego death, spiritual shock, radical alignment with divine will. And then this moved, right? Then it moved next into the 1-8, and that was my last video. And this is the channel of inspiration, the channel of the creative role model. So this is dropping out of the fakery, taking off the masks, and removing the ego projections to make yourself interesting to others, creating for the approval and validation of others, and becoming the living transmission of your own soul's truth. So this full moon says, well, now that you've shed the old skin, can you speak your truth simply, without explanation, without any defense or delay? So the full moon in the 43rd, and it's in line 4, that you see right there. So this is the gate of insight. It's the gate of insight, and it's radical. This is individual knowing. And isn't it interesting? The 2531, the channel, or the 2551, the channel of initiation, individual. 1-8, individual. And then 4323 is also individual. So this is individual knowing that arrives like lightning. And it's in line 4, so that says that this insight is like externalization, right? Line 4. So this is an insight that's to be shared with the world. So this is a pressure to communicate a deep truth, to speak what you know is true, even if it doesn't make sense to others. So this is about letting go of roles and masks and identities you used to survive up until now, especially in your relationships, your work, and how you present yourself to the world. So this is preparing you to be misunderstood, right? This is trusting that your frequency speaks louder than words. So this is a make or break moment for the Phoenix fractal, who've been hiding their genius out of fear of rejection or that it won't be understood, right? So this thing about being understood, this is a deep wound that we'll go into, but I just want to go over actually some other notes that I made here. That I didn't have time to make slides for. But Pluto is in the 41, you see. So Pluto is the ruler, because it's the full moon in Scorpio. This is the ruler of Scorpio. Mars is actually the ruler as well, but I want to focus on Pluto. Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. Scorpio's got two parents, right? Pluto and Mars. So 41 is the start codon. So this is the pressure because this is coming off the root chakra. It's the pressure to begin something new. It's the gate of imagination. It's about having new experiences, and it's the emotional pressure to initiate. But it's line 2, so it can be a little bit hesitant. So Pluto here is digging up your karmic DNA. Digging up your karmic DNA. And these are like deep soul memories of dreams that you denied in your past lives. So this is suppression, right? So this is the emotional pressure to change. But there's a fear of exposure, right? Or risk. And so this is a collective. This is a transit chart. It's a collective underworld pressure because it's Pluto. And this is like, you can't go back to the old script. We're in a different timeline now, right? Even if you wanted to, you can't go backwards. So then you've got Mercury, right? Mercury, so the ruler of Scorpio is Pluto, and it's squaring Mercury, the 27.2, and this comes off the sacral. It's exact at 3 degrees, right? Exact. So you have to take note of that. So this is communication. This is the voice of caring, nourishment, and obligation. So this is the caretaker. Right? It's tribal. It's about responsibility, nourishment. It's about boundaries. And again, it's line 2, right? 27.2. So this is the reluctance to overgive. This is giving without limit, but a second line, so it's a little bit reluctant, right? Right? So you can see this ending of the script. This full moon is calling you to embrace. So Mercury here is the voice of the inner child that says, you know, I'm not going to explain myself anymore to be loved. I'm not going to feed anything that depletes me, right? And then it's Pluto and Mercury squaring here. This is a crisis of expression. You see how it works with this 4323. So this creates mental soul friction, old patterns of self-sacrifice, the 27, and then the pressure to evolve and start something new. So this is your inner voice clashing. One wants comfort and not to change, and the other one demands change, right? But so this is like you may want to speak softly, continue to speak softly, right? Barely like expressing your needs, right? Maybe you could, right? And so you got that, the 27, and then you got the 41, and that's like volcanic, right? It's volcanic. And because this is happening on a Scorpio full moon, words will become weapons this full moon, or a wand, right? Or a wand, a magical wand. So you must choose. Are you going to speak from fear, or are you going to speak from your power, of your power? So this full moon has no patience for this overgiving and people pleasing, right? That's ending. So this is like stop feeding what is not evolving, what doesn't have life. And the pressure to birth something new is real. It's real. You're feeling it in your body, right? So you want to speak what nourishes you, what has life, what's feeding your soul, and then starve what's draining you. So it's a powerful full moon. So let's go into the 43 right here a little bit more, the 43. So it's the shadow of deafness, it's the gift of insight, and it's the city of epiphany. So what's the fear, right here, the 43? The fear is rejection, that you'll be a social outcast. If you speak what you know, right? If I speak what I know, this is the voice of the shadow, I'll be cast out. And the fourth line is about community. It's about intimacy. It's about your family. It's about tribe. So when insight comes through the gate 43, it's often disruptive, right? And the question on the table is, of the not self, do I stay connected not self, or do I speak what could destroy this connection? You know? And the thing is, you already know. That's what this full moon in the 43 is saying. You already know. If I say the truth, if I speak the truth to this person, this will destroy the connection. And you know what you do when you're doing that? You're avoiding the truth. You're avoiding the truth. But you know the truth, what will happen, because you know they're not on your fractal line, right? You know this already with these transits that we've been going through. So this is a social martyrdom wound. This is a psychic past life memory that you were killed for your knowing, right? And showing your power, speaking the truth. You were killed. You were mocked. You were outcasted. You were betrayed by your village, by your sisters, by your church. You were too much, too strange, too weird, too freaky, right? The Freak the Genius channel. Too intense, too magical, too powerful. So what happens now? You swallow your insight, right? You swallow what you see. Not because you don't trust it, it's because you associate authentic expression with danger. It's coming from your past lives. So really, with the deafness, is you become deaf to your own inner voice. You stop listening to your intuition, right? And you start listening to the external world. So this plays out like making decisions to stay safe, playing small to avoid persecution, fitting into distorted masculine systems, carrying psychic weight that's not yours. And this can show up in your body as pain, can show up as headaches, worry, right? 43 is about worry, the worrying mind. So you're worrying about people that don't even really care about themselves. You know those people? It's like you care more about them than they care about themselves. You're worrying about them and they don't really care about themselves, right? You're wasting your energy here. And let's go to, where do I want to go next here? I want to talk about the energy grid before we get into the electric eel. So the energy grid. What's the energy grid? Well, this is the invisible web of frequencies, beliefs, and archetypes that shape our collective reality. That's the energy grid that we live in. And it holds the blueprint of how we perceive time, how we perceive power, how we perceive love, how we perceive identity and truth. So there's two versions of the energy grid. There's the false grid, and this is what we're all living in right now. Not all of us, but most of the planet. And this is an artificial construct, and it's built on fear, hierarchy, separation, and control. So it programs obedience, self-denial, and looping karmic patterns. So it rewards conformity and punishes authenticity. So you were born into this false grid, right? This is our programming. This is the not self world that we live in right now, the false grid. So this has been laid over top of the true grid. And what's the true grid? This is the organic, divine structure of reality. And it's based in love and coherence and soul truth. It honors embodiment, intuition, sacred union, and sovereign choice. And when we're aligned to the true grid, we experience flow, which is synchronicity, clarity, and purpose, right? And purpose. So this is starting to get activated now, the true grid. So that's why sometimes you can feel like you get up and I feel so disoriented, like where am I, right? Where am I? Who am I? It takes a little while for the information to download, you know, so there's so much change, and that's because this true grid is coming online. So what's the bridge? Your physical body is the bridge, right? So when you listen and act from your soul, you reconnect to the true grid and slowly dismantle this false one. Okay, so keep that in mind, and then we'll go to the totem animal, which is Very fascinating. This is the electric eel. So each of the 64 gates has a totem animal. So it's another way to kind of move into the frequency of the 43rd gate, because it's all frequency. It's not just information. So the electric eel can generate and discharge electricity through its body up to 860 volts, enough to stun prey, defend itself, and navigate through the murky waters, right? So electricity here is insight. That's the gift of the 43. So the 43 holds inner knowing that's not linear. It's not rational. It's not logical. You can't prove it. You can't defend it. It's not all figured out, right? You can't write a thesis on insight, basically. It's just there in the present now moment. And it arrives like a lightning bolt. Do you know what I mean? It's very Uranian. It reminds me of the planet Uranus. It's the dark field, the dark field, and maybe it's a new moon or a waning moon, right? And you can't see anything, and then suddenly there's a lightning bolt and you see everything, right? That's what an insight is like. It's the insight of truth, right? That you can't unsee. You can't unsee. But often it's misunderstood. It's too much for the false grid system. Right? It's way too much. So just like the electric eel's jolt, this insight arrives in bursts, right? Bursts, quick bursts. So it can be disturbing or it can be awakening. But it must be timed correctly or it can backfire. That's why it's the Freak the Genius channel, right? The genius is like, oh my God, my whole life just got restructured by that person that holds the 4323. It's like I see life in my life so differently now. That's the genius. But then the freak is, if it's not, the field's not ready for that, then it's like you're the social outcast, you're the weirdo, right? You're the freak. So it's about timing, and the timing isn't about that other person, it's about the field. Right? Is the field ready for this? And you'll feel it in your body. And it will be awakening. So you don't want to discharge your genius until the field is ready. And how do you know? Because your body is the bridge, Divine Feminine. Your body is the bridge. You'll feel it in your body. There's an opening here for me to release my insight. No, there's not an opening here to release my insight. Right? So you have to be in tune with your body, right? You have to be embodied, and you'll feel the field, right? The field wants this. So the electric eel lives in the dark. It thrives in muddy, low visibility waters. So those who carry the deep insights, they live in a world that doesn't recognize it. They fear, if I speak my truth, will I be rejected? That's the fear. So the eel stays hidden, but when it's time, it lights up the dark. Right? So this means your insight is meant to illuminate the unconscious, what can't be seen, not to validate the obvious. And that's the people pleasing. Go along and get along. No, your insight is this, is to illuminate what's unconscious, what's in shadow that people don't want to look at. So the eel has neurological power. Electric eels can literally communicate with each other via electrical impulses. So this bypasses language. So gate 43 can't be explained in words at first, right? It's felt. It's felt. And then it's transmitted oracally through frequency. So this is more of a resonation than what's spoken, the words that are spoken. So the channel 4323, knowing, remains locked in your nervous system, unspoken until the time is right. So you want to let your insight vibrate before you translate too soon, right? And then the eel is about shocking, right? Shocking with that electric impulse of 186 volts, right? It can be used for protection and awakening. So the eel uses its charge, its electrical charge, to stun what would devour it and wake up what's asleep. Right? So this is like setting boundaries through energetic truth. Right? So the jolt of the 43 becomes an epiphany for both the speaker and the listener. So it's shocking them out of sleep with truth. But only if the divine says it's time, and your body will let you know. So again, with this channel, just with me personally, both my father, my earthly father and earthly mother, they both had this 4323 channel, but opposite. They were flipped, right? Because my mother was a Scorpio and my father was a Taurus. So I grew up in this frequency, but I grew up in the shadow frequency. And in terms of this, my mother was definitely, it was all about how things appeared on the external and her image, her public image. And she definitely had this fear of being a social outcast. And she projected that onto me. And I'm an 8, right? I'm not designed to fit in anywhere as an 8. So, and it's funny to, because I was meditating on this, because it's deafness, right? Like, let's go back to the shadow is deafness, right? And so one of the few things, my mother was a Scorpio, and it's, if you know Scorpios, there's a really funny cartoon. I think I posted it maybe last year or the year before. I may post it again. And it's all how the 12 zodiac signs apologize, you know. So Taurus would be, what are you mad about? You know, let's go eat. Right? And then Leo would be, I'm sorry that you're so jealous of me. And Virgo is like, I'm sorry that you didn't listen to me. You should have known better and listened to what I said you should do. And then it gets to Scorpio, and then it's just blank. It's the only one that's blank. So Scorpios are not known for apologizing, you know. And it's about, because they've had to apologize for in their past lives for speaking the truth, basically. So it's a deep wound still in the Scorpio. So the closest my mother got to an apology to me was a letter that she wrote to me, and she said, my regret with you is that I didn't listen to you. I didn't listen to you. So she was having an insight about her shadow of deafness, and she didn't listen to me. I would be silent within my family because there was no room for truth in this 4323 in shadow, right? So I would just go silent, and that would be a complaint of my parents. You don't talk when you're around us. You only speak when you're outside of the family. And it's because I was choosing myself, and to stay, now that I see it, I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but I was choosing my own integrity, that I couldn't speak because I didn't want to feed the lies and the shadow within that frequency, right? So that's just another way to understand that. And the deafness is not listening to your own inner voice. The deafness is listening to the external, in the external world. So you become deaf to your own self, and it cuts you off from insight and epiphanies. So maybe you have this natally, like put it down below so people can see. Maybe there's other people that have this channel or gate themselves. Okay, so let's go to this false light grid a little bit more. So this is really the matrix, the Maya, the not self architecture, right? Cross the planning that's starting to dissolve, right? This not self architecture. So it's energetically synthetic. It mimics light, but it's hollow at the core. And it's mental in origin. It has to do with the mind. And it's built from fear, logic disconnected from spirit, just all head stuff, mental stuff, and then a trauma-imposed identity. So keeping people staying in victim consciousness. And then it's kept alive by fear, by silence, by procrastination, by complacency, That's the false light grid, right? This is like, I'm comfortable in this grid. I'm comfortable in this prison, basically, right? It makes me comfortable. Buy the drugs, drink the alcohol. Just stay complacent. Don't rise. And compliance, obey, right? Obey. And it's all about the words that you don't say, right? That you feed this false light grid by lying and not. Well, I'm not lying, but I'm not saying what my insights are. That's lying by omission, right? So the not self world, right, in human design, this is living from your conditioning, because you were born into this false light grid. Your mother was born into this, your grandparents, and so on and so on. Right? So you're living by your conditioning, your not self, instead of your design. So this is betraying your own inner authority to be accepted. False light grid does not want any inner authority, right? But this is changing. So obeying what you're supposed to do instead of what's true and what's true. So the false grid is the dream spell. It rewards distortion and it punishes truth. It punishes truth. We can see this out in the world. Anyone who speaks the truth is attacked and demonized, but it rewards distortion and lies. So each time a divine feminine like yourself speaks her frequency aligned with truth, right? Speaks from her frequency that's aligned with truth, breaks the karmic contract of silence, staying silent, staying small, refuses to betray herself again, well, she sends a jolt like that eel through the artificial web, and this strengthens the true light grid. So it's not just what you say, it's what your voice is reclaiming. It's reclaiming this frequency of truth. So with the 43rd gate is you can't rewire your life with language. The 4323 is about restructuring. So you can't rewire your life with language that was designed to suppress you. And this is using logic. It's using the not self. It's arguing. I talked about this. The divine feminine's arguing with those weak karmic masculines with their mind, and they're out of their power, right? So you can't rewire your life. You're not going to change things. This is shadow, street fighting with shadow. You're not going to get anywhere, right? You're not going to get anywhere because this language is designed to suppress you. So when you embody the 4323, you become a living spark in the energy grid, right? And we got Pluto working in the 41, and this is the mutation pressure, both personally, individually, and planetary. So this is not just talking about change. This is a rewiring of the nervous system of the feminine, the divine feminine collective here. So if you can see here this picture, that each one of you is like a node, right? A node in this energy grid. And especially on my fractal, right? You're connected to one another through the fractal. So when you start speaking the truth, speaking your insights and what you see without fear of getting ostracized, right? Not fearing getting persecuted now, this sends ripples through the grid. So you're sending it right to your sister, right? Your sister on the fractal. And when one node starts to awaken and speak the truth, it empowers the other, right? That's a big word right now, is empower, right? That's individual circuitry, the 21 or the 2551, then the 18, and now the 4323. This is all about empowerment. So you want to, with deafness, you want to flip it. You want to be deaf to the external world. You want to be deaf to your karmic that's trying to gaslight you and argue you out of your feelings and your insights. You want to be deaf to that. And you want to commit to listen to your own insights. Listen to your own insights. So here's some questions, right? What's the truth you've been deaf to? What's the truth that you've been deaf to? Have you been busy, right? Have you been distracting yourself, staying busy, being productive, trying to be the good girl, right? Well, and avoiding this insight that's trying to come through. It's going to come through this full moon. What's the insight waiting to break your karmic pattern? The karmic pattern that you're in, that's keeping you in this false grid, right? So this is all you have to do is you just start speaking the truth, living authentically in the prison that you're in and where you feel stuck and in fear and I can't move and I don't know what to do. It starts to dissolve, right? That's the only way it's going to dissolve. And what have you known in your body all along? Right? Your body is going to communicate to you. Your body knows. Your body totally knows. So if we go to the fractal line, the Phoenix fractal, which again are Pluto and Scorpio, women, stellium of Scorpio, or stellium in the 8th house, or Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. You're on the fractal, or you resonate deeply with these messages. Yes, you're on it. So the Pluto and Scorpio women aren't just waking up the matrix. They were designed to dismantle it. You're designed to dismantle this false light grid through your body. Your body holds the memories. Your mind can't remember the past lives, right? But your body remembers. Your body remembers all the past lives. Your body remembers all those karmics in your life. Your body remembers. And remember, if it's contracted, it's in pain, it's closed down, that's not where you're supposed to be. Right? So through your body remembering, honoring your body, a devotion to truth, committed to truth, no matter what, committed to authenticity, no matter what. And then also through your fearless descent into the underworld, into the shadows, into the darkness, right? You're built for this. So you need to remember that your body's not an obstacle. It's not the problem. Your body is actually the rewiring tool, right? So you can look at it as like a prison. Well, my body's a prison. You know, I've got to deal with this. I've got to deal with that. No, it's not a prison. It's a portal. It's a portal for you. It's a prison because you're stuck in this false light grid, right? That you're not listening to your body. You're listening to your mind and your logic. You're not self. So you were trained, right? You were trained and programmed to feed this false light grid through your pain, through wearing a mask, through performance, through fear, through overgiving. And your karmic wound is trying to heal the system from inside the system, right? You're trying to heal the system from inside the system. You're trying to play the game of the false light grid, and you're not going to do that. You can't do it. Right? That's a trap that keeps you in these karmic loops. So when you stop hiding, High Priestess in hiding, by wearing a mask, staying under the radar, hoping nobody's going to notice you, and you start listening to your own inner voice, your very presence disrupts the false light grid. That's how easy it is for you. You don't need to do anything except be yourself and start listening to your inner voice. So also, you were coded with death, rebirth DNA. You were born into families. You were born into families or systems that fed this false light grid, right? On purpose. You were taught to betray your body in order to belong. Right? You were taught to betray your body in order to belong. You've been taught to dismiss your intuition and your insights in order to belong and to fit in. But your soul contract says when you return to your truth, you rewire the grid for all people who are asleep. Right? So you come into the true light grid. So you need one thing. Right? And that's commitment to your own inner truth, no matter the cost. No matter the cost, this is your commitment. Your commitment isn't to your family. Your commitment isn't to your partner and your karmic. It's your commitment is to yourself, to your own inner truth, And that's why the false grid targets you the most, divine feminine, right? The divine feminine is so targeted right now on our planet. They want to annihilate the word mother, even, right? And controlling the body, like I did in one of my videos, controlling the body, right? Keeping you out of the body, keeping you in your head. And that's not where your power is, right? Because the false light grid knows that when you come into your power, it starts to dissolve, it starts to collapse, this false light grid. So when the Pluto and Scorpio woman becomes authentic, the systems start to collapse, right? It's right there in your body. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else I wanted to share there? So this weekend is really about speaking your insights, and you're going to be very pressurized to speak, right? To speak. And it's time to start speaking the truth and come out of hiding. And speaking of which, the Awakening the Divine Feminine online retreat, May 16th to the 18th. And the theme is Lilith Rising. So there's, we'll be working a lot with Lilith. So through Kundalini Yoga and meditation, of course, lots of teachings, group work. There's a forum, a private forum on my website where you can communicate with one another. All the sessions, everything is on my website, so it's private. And we'll work with this Lilith. So within your chart, right, you'll need your chart. So there's 144 combinations that you can have, right? Because there's 12 signs, 12 houses. And Lilith, you can't embrace your divine feminine until you meet Lilith. And Lilith is the shadow. And this is the shadow that's been repressed in you lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. So it's right in your chart. So you have to embrace the shadow and claim Lilith as power, right? And Lilith is totally like an electric eel on steroids for this false light grid, right? This is, the false light grid is terrified of Lilith. You see, a weak man is triggered by that Lilith energy and tries to box it in and wants to control it and possess it, that Lilith within inside you. So what has it done? It's put it in a box, right? And that's through pornography and stuff like that. It's trying to control that energy. So it's like the weak masculine is both attracted to the Lilith energy, but it's also afraid of the Lilith energy, right? So the divine masculine is what can hold that Lilith energy. Okay, so if we look at, let's just use an example, is the false light grid in terms of this Lilith might have said, don't trust your body, right? Don't trust your body's desires. But you have to remember, whatever your body desires, this isn't coming from your conditioning, because conditioning is the mind. Whatever your body is desiring, that whatever that is desires you too, right? Because your desires from your body are coming from your soul, the current of your soul. So it could be like, well, it's not ladylike for me to be assertive, right? My body is just too much. My desire leads to punishment, right? Be productive. Be productive. Productive society. Be useful, but don't be passionate. Be afraid of your passion. Your job is to serve, right? Serve others and not to feel. And this is what the false light grid could tell you if you've got Lilith here. And so when you feel lust or sexual passion or anger or hunger or restlessness or the pull to rest or dance or scream or surrender, the ego will pop up and say, don't trust that. You'll be judged. That's inappropriate. You can't do that. You'll ruin everything. You'll ruin your false light grid of comfortability and complacency. So go numb, right? Go numb. But your Lilith body says this is the gate. right? And this is how you walk through this prison into the true light grid. So you can see that she's showing you where your power is, right? And so there can be a lot of shame that comes up, right? A lot of shame around that for this particular placement. So this is, you've got to say, I trust. You have to trust your body. It's not betraying you. It's delivering you. It's not the problem. It's the message, right? That's bringing you into your power. So keep that in mind. And what's really interesting is I didn't check the transits at all when I set the date. My intuition is like, no, it's got to be this weekend. Right? So the other day I just checked for fun. What's going on? Well, lots is going on. We're still be in the new moon energy because it's really powerful. But Uranus and the sun are exactly conjunct, right? Conjunct, opposing, transiting Black Moon Lilith, right? So it's going to be quite something, this online retreat. So I'm really excited about it. It's like the life and the universe and the true light grid is really supporting us to break out divine feminine. So if you feel called, please show up and you can meet some of the other women on your fractal line. Maybe make some friends if you're feeling isolated. Okay, so let's start off with the fractal line reading here. And let's see here. There it is. Okay. So, what are the cards saying here for this full moon activating the 2343? So what truth has been silenced in the field, in the energy grid that seeks expression? Well, this is the Nine of Wands. It's the wounded warrior. So it's like I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from holding the line. So you've been burned by truth before, the Nine of Wands says, and now you're hesitating. You're guarded. You're hyper aware. Right? I spoke the truth before and it was so chaotic and this happened and that happened, right? So you're hyper aware, you're hyper vigilant, and you're overly careful with your insight. But this card is saying that the insight has already formed, just what I was intuiting earlier, right? With the fractal, your insight has already formed. It's already there. And you're afraid it's going to cost you your sense of belonging, you know? It's like, you know, if I speak this truth, all these people in my life disappear, right? And so you're standing at the edge of speaking, but you have to remember they're not for you anyway, right? It's just showing you the truth. So you're standing at the edge of speaking, but you need someone to pierce the veil. And I'm helping to do that, helping to pierce the veil for you. Okay, and then we've got, will you risk? The question is, are you going to risk speaking the truth? Right? Are you going to risk being rejected again? I'm going to be rejected. Remember, woman, man's rejection is God's protection. They're protecting you. You're being protected from getting in these karmic loops with these people that are not on your fractal. So will you risk being rejected again in order to speak what's real? And that's what the risk is. That's the risk. So what distortion, King of Pentacles, Death reversed, from the false light grid is ready to collapse. This is ready to collapse for the fractal. So this is the illusion of control, right? The illusion of control that pentacle is going to keep me safe. That pentacle is my security. And this is about pretending that you're grounded, right? Pretending that you're grounded and you're not living your truth, basically. So clinging to the roles of being, I'm the reliable one. I'm the responsible one. I'm the realistic one, right? I'm the successful one. I'm the one that does for others. but it's delaying the spiritual transformation that wants to dismantle this false identity. So death reversed says that you know something must die, but the king keeps playing safe in the matrix, right? In the false grid. So this is the false grid's final grip, and this is security, right? In exchange for your silence. So this could be your karmic relationship, right? He's the grounded one. He's providing. He's the stable one in exchange for what? My silence. He's not interested in your insights, right? And there's the exchange. And this is the last grip of your prison. This is the false light prison that you're in. So what's the voltage running through the grid right now for the fractal? What's the voltage running through? Well, this is the world reversed. The world reversed, Five of Pentacles reversed, and the Queen of Pentacles. So this is massive rewiring for the fractal, but it's not stable. It's incomplete. The world's reversed. So the initiation that happened with that 5125, it hasn't integrated yet. It's scarcity. There's still this fear of scarcity. And some of you are rising. Yes, some of you are rising, but others are still fearing loss of the material, right? Or exile, right? I'm not going to belong. I'm not going to have a community. I'm not going to have that partner, right? And energetically deplete it. Queen reverse. This is like not taking care of yourself. This is about you giving to everybody else, but not you, because you fear. Your fear of being exiled and your fear of not being materially supported. So the earth anchoring, right? Do you see how you're outsourcing it? Because there's the Queen of Pentacles and then the King over here. So you're outsourcing it to this karmic relationship or job or whatever it is that you feel gives you material security. You're outsourcing it. You've got to flip it. You've got to be the Queen of Pentacles, right? You've got to ground in yourself, and that starts with your body here. So you're between worlds. That's what this is saying. You're between the grids. Not quite fully in the false light grid, but I'm not fully into the true light grid yet. I'm kind of in between, a purgatory in a sense, right? You're between truths, and the frequency is unstable. The frequency within you hasn't landed yet fully. It's unstable, but it's active. So this is the electric eel, right? Pulsing, but the current hasn't found the vessel yet, right? It hasn't landed in your body yet. So what does the fractal need to stop feeding to hear their inner knowing? What do you got to stop feeding so that you can tap into your inner knowing? Well, the Ten of Wands. This is the burdens that you're carrying. This is the obligation. Being responsible, over-responsible for others. This is obligation, what you feel like you're obligated to. And it's also self-abandonment, Ten of Wands. So this means you're carrying too much in what's not yours. It's not yours. So it could be ancestral pain, your family roles, your emotional, like you're giving emotionally in your relationships and getting nothing back. You're holding space for other people, right? You're helping to hold space for other people. Be there when they're in a crisis and they're going through a hard time, but you're not there. They're not there for you, right? So this is you abandoning yourself. Right? You're exhausted, but I feel obligated. I got to show up because I'm a sister. I'm a good daughter. I'm a good friend. And that's just what you do. And it's like, no, you're self-abandoning yourself. Right? Because you're feeding this false light grid. That's what the false light grid teaches you. No, it's selfish to think of yourself. That's the false light grid programming. So this is I have to carry it all. If I carry it all, and I'm silent about my suffering, then I'll finally be seen, right? I'll finally be loved. I'll finally be safe. So this is to stop feeding the martyr grid, right? Stop feeding the martyr grid, the false light grid. And truth can rise. Truth can't rise under the weight of this, right? So this is to stop feeding this dynamic. And what form will the breakthrough take? You got Four of Pentacles reversed. The dam will burst inward first. It's reversed, right? The dam's gonna burst inside you. This isn't a loud explosion. It's a moment of surrender. It's the choice to let go of what you've been white knuckling, right? Where you've been gripping onto. It's time to let that go. So this is the emotional exhale after a long clenched survival. So this is energetic softening, and it's, I don't need to control this anymore. You don't need to control this anymore. You can release it. And I release this system that I've been so loyal to, right? Been so loyal to this system and programming, but it never held me. So I'm letting it go. It never served me. And then what is the electric gift that you're here to deliver, right? You got the Nine of Cups and the Two of Pentacles reverse. So this is fulfillment, the Nine of Cups, through frequency now. Being true to your frequency. So the gift is emotional fulfillment. That's not fake. It's not fake. But the Two of Pentacles reverse shows that you can't hold the duality anymore. You can't hold these two grid systems anymore. The juggling act is over, and only one path matches your frequency now, right? So tune into your frequency. What's your path now? And it's going to be the true light grid. So this is where your insight becomes the embodiment, where your 43 insight becomes the 23 embodiment. And this is, I stop splitting myself. I stop splitting myself here. I choose aligned joy, right? And I listen to my body. And that's the aligned joy. I let my body choose. And so what support does the fractal need to stabilize this new frequency that's coming in, this full moon? Okay, and this is actually starting on May 8th. That's why I'm bringing up the full moon so early, right? The 4323 is going to be activated on May 8th, and then the full moon is the culmination of that, and that's on the 12th. Okay, so we're going to be in it in 2 days. So the Lover's reversed. So you need to stop outsourcing your truth to these relationships that aren't aligned. It's Lover's reversed. So no more false unions, no more false twin flames, right? No more false soulmates. No more distorted mirrors. No more sacrificing your intuition for connection to this, right? To stay in this false light prison, right? So this is a call to spiritual re-choosing, choosing your spiritual path. So you must choose frequency over familiarity. You must choose your frequency, not what's familiar, not what's comfortable and keeps you complacent and small and not self and hiding. You want to choose your frequency now. So it's not about finding the right partner. It's about becoming so anchored that the true mirror will find you. Right? So you're tired, yes, but your knowing is intact. Your knowing is intact. You're tired, yes, your knowing is intact. You're burdened, yes, but your voice is unbroken. You're in between grids, right? But you're already correcting. Right? You're already correcting this with this active energy. And you speak what your soul has always carried. Not to be heard. You want to speak to rewire the field. And remember, this is the age of Aquarius. It's the age of truth. So when you speak the truth, you're aligned with a great power of truth. That's the only thing that's left standing at the end of the day is truth. Is truth and authenticity. So the false light is collapsing for you, And the true light hums beneath your skin, and your silence was never a weakness. It was voltage waiting. So look at it like that. My silence wasn't a mistake. The voltage is waiting. This full moon, May 8th, start speaking your truth. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the twin flames. Twin flames here. What are the cards saying about the twin flames? Well, let's start off with the Ten of... No, what is that? The Page of Swords, right? Yeah. So let's start off. I'd like to do it this way to keep it... Because some people on the fractal are they're connected to their twin flame, and then or they could be connected to their false twin and their true twin at the same time, or they're connected to a false twin, right? So let's read the cards from both perspectives, and then you can discern if this is your false twin or real twin. And remember, I do twin flame readings, so it's in the chart if there's a future with this person and what the lesson is, and if there's no future and it's just a karmic loop and you're here to get the lesson. So what's being revealed for the false twin? You've got Page of Swords, and then you've got Justice here. So what is this saying? It's saying that your false twin is trash talking you. They're spying, they're stalking, they're sending mixed messages to you. And this is sneaky energy, right? So this would be like the false twin, is talking trash behind your back and not telling you to your face, right? So that's like, oh, suddenly my false twin friends, they go all quiet when I'm around now. Like, what's that about? It's because he's trash talking you. He's too cowardly to bring up stuff about you, right? To your face. He'd rather talk to his friends about it, right? About how unstable you are and how emotional you are and you're too much, and so people can feel sorry for him, right? So this is immature, and it's sneaky energy, and it's talking and gossiping about you instead of telling you the truth. And karmics avoid the truth. They avoid the truth. So justice is showing up to balance the scales. And it's not about preserving this relationship, this karmic relationship anymore. This is a false light relationship, right? And it's to break the illusion that you've been under. So this was never mutual. This relationship was never mutual. It was a projection loop where you're in a connection where you're not actually relating to the real person. You're relating to the idea of him and not the real him, right? And he's doing that to you, and you're doing that to him. So what illusion is breaking is the Strength Reverse card, and this reveals emotional manipulation, energetic dominance, using force, the silent treatment, right? I don't want to talk about this, your false twin. I'm going to give you the silent treatment to get back at you, or I'm going to control and maintain the power dynamics in this relationship. So you weren't being held. Divine Feminine wants to be held. With the false twin, you're handled. He's your handler. He's handling you. He's managing you. So what karmic residue is still in your field to let go of, right? That's holding you in this false light grid. Well, it's the Eight of Wands. So this is the addiction to the intensity, right? This is the fast texts and mental stimulation and psychic pings, and your nervous system's activated because it's in stress mode, right? That's why it's activated. And the false light grid says, well, you're feeling something, right? You're in a trauma response, but it's love. It means that we've got a lot of chemistry and love together, right? right? So this is the nervous system on high alert with your twin, with the false twin. So it's confusing a stress state with love. So it moves fast, but it goes nowhere, right? So it's time to cut this out, right? To cut this out with this false twin. And it's to get into your body, right? This is like your body's on high alert. Like, oh my, this false twin, get away from this false twin. This is not love. It's not relaxing, right? It's all about the mind, keeping you in the mind, keeping you out of your power. So it's an addiction. It's an addiction. So what role are you stuck in? The Page of Wands reversed. So this is a pattern of spiritual breadcrumbing, right? So your false twin would offer you, when he feels you pulling away, he'll offer you a little crumb, right? A little crumb. Oh, I'll change. Yeah, I'll try that. I'll watch a video on spirituality, or I'll try to meditate, right? Or whatever, and throws a crumb at you. And then it's like, oh, he's changing. He's coming around. But it's a pattern, and you're seeing it. You've got the insight to see it now. So this is about offering enough light, right, to keep the illusion alive. And there you are with the Page of Wands. You're trying to spark. You're trying to spark and keep the connection alive. Maybe you're the one initiating sex, right, and getting rejected. Or you do things to be interesting to him, right, to keep the connection alive, and they ghost you. They ghost you, right? And then you light it again, and you get a breadcrumb back and forth. And this is if I stay interesting enough, or I stay mysterious enough, right? If I initiate just the right way. And this is the little girl on the fractal, right? The little girl on the fractal that wants her father's attention. Remember, a lot of women on my fractal have the father wound, right? If I do this, maybe he'll love me. Right? Maybe he'll love me. So it's trying to seduce a ghost, because your false twin is a ghost at this point, into his body. And it's not working. So this is not sacred union. This is the karmic loop is depleting your energy. It's depleting your energy. So look at that. So what shift is coming? Well, this is good news, isn't it? 5 of Pentacles and the Fool. Right, is the Fool. So this is the ending, right? This is the ending. So this is the story. You finally get it. You finally see the pattern. You finally see the addiction, right? You see the pattern. You see this in truth. You get the insight. Well, this is the story's over, right? 5 of Pentacles, the story's over. You've been stuck in the story of pain. And now you're being offered release. So this is like starting anew, right? So this is the prison that you've called, oh, this is my soulmate, right? This is my soulmate here, right? You're ending this. You see it in truth now. So this lesson, this relationship was your lesson. It was your lesson. It wasn't your soul path. So it's time to close the book and to start anew. So this is the moment that you realize this isn't sacred love. It's a karmic poverty loop. If you're starved, right? The 5 of Pentacles is poverty. You're starved, spiritually starved, emotionally starved. And you're locked in abandonment. And the soul contract is finally finished, right? It's finally finished. So the karmic, your karmic represents the false grid. And the thing with the trash talking, maybe with the trash talking, that this karmic is more interested in his social, how he appears socially and with his friends and community, right? So he's like ahead of the curve here, talking about what a great guy he is and how miserable you are, right? And then this, where was I going with that? I know what I wanted to say was he may not want to leave you. Like he knows it's gone. The false twin knows it's gone and it's over, but he doesn't want to end it because it will look bad on him. Like, oh, you're the bad guy leaving her, right? But that's not the thing. So he's got that. But it's for you, the contract is like you have to stand up, right? The twin flames go through self-worth and self-love. That's their wounding that they're here to heal. Both twin flames, the real twin flames, right? So it's you that has to stand up. It's you that has to be the fool and end this, right? I love myself more than this prison I'm in, right? I love myself more. I respect myself more. I have self-worth. I'm moving on, right? I'm trusting. I'm moving into the light grid. And as soon as you speak the truth, you'll feel that light grid just like light up around you. And then you're in flow. You're in synchronicity and things start to flow for you. But it starts with your body. Listen to your body. 5 of Pentacles, that's your body shut down. So what soul lesson is finishing for the false twin? 10 of Wands reversed in the High Priestess. You've been carrying this connection all alone, by yourself, in silence, and not talking about how draining this relationship has been to you. Your twin is out trash talking you, but you're not talking about it, right? So you've done nothing and they've done nothing to earn your devotion and all this work that you've been doing, right? They have done nothing to earn your loyalty. Right? So this is about putting the burden down. They're not changing. They're avoiding their soul purpose. They're not going to change. That's not their job in your life. They're not going to change. So the dream that you're building isn't with them. It's not with them. It's with you. Right? With you. And this is the High Priestess, is start listening to your insights. Right? Start listening to your insights. So you've been keeping the secrets. You've been keeping this burden to yourself. You haven't been talking to others about it. So how do you embody the truth? The 6 of Wands, right? So this means you don't need their applause and approval and validation. You don't need this false twin's validation anymore. You don't need their approval anymore. You don't need to prove anything to them. You don't need to defend anything, right? This is to stand in your clarity and walk on. Walk out the door. So you win by leaving. That's your soul contract. You win by leaving, and you rise by choosing yourself. By choosing yourself. Okay, so that's the false twin. So now let's read it with the true twin. These cards with the true twin. So the true twin is this union, your union. And remember, you can't, with the false twin, right? There's a flame, but it's karmic. So that means this flame goes out, right? It has an expiry date, basically, with your false twin. With your true twin, the flame is always there. It's eternal. It never goes out. So this means that it's going through a sacred correction. So one of the twins, maybe it's you, is watching silently, reflecting, gathering clarity, learning about the twin flame connection, and the scales are correcting. So everything that was unspoken is getting ready to surface. So the soul contract is active, it says, even if the words aren't formed yet. The soul contract is active. So it's knowing, this is a knowingness of the sacredness of this connection. Right, with these cards here. And what energetic pattern or illusion is dissolving between the twins, and it's strength reversed. And this is the illusion that I have to be strong. I have to have it all together, right? I have to be in control. This is fading, right? This is the old false light way. I've got to be in control. I have to be strong in this connection, right? And it's like this is all fading, especially the control part, because it's the divine that controls this connection, not your ego. So this is heart softening, and it's the mask of stoicism is cracking open into raw vulnerability here. So your real strength, divine feminine, with your true twin flame is surrender. Surrender. And divine union doesn't require you to be strong and in control. If anything, it's the opposite. It's to be vulnerable and to surrender. And that's where your true strength is. So what is the karmic residue that needs to be cleared or alchemized for the true twin flame? This is the timelines, especially in separation. It means that they're being restructured. So it's rapid movement of energy with the true twin flames. So this could be like unsent messages, unspoken truths, or missed soul appointments, right? Are now seeking resolution. What your soul contract was, right, is now seeking resolution. So communication now must become clear, direct, and sacred. And lots of movement. So lots of movement with the twins. So what role are you being asked, Divine Feminine, to embody in this connection now? So with your true flame, you're being asked to pause trying to make something happen, right? You're not here to spark another initiation or send another signal or do another tarot reading or get a professional reading on your twin. You're here for the fire to settle and trust what remains, right? So this is your stillness, is to go into your stillness, right? That's the true spark, right? Because it's about frequency. You come in union with yourself. Each twin has to come in union with themselves, and it's the frequency that draws you both together, right? So what's the next frequency shift or evolution in this bond? This is the abandonment wound, right? The rejection wound is being closed. It's being closed. This is the season of separation is ending. And not by reunion alone, but by the inner realization that this cycle has served you, right? This is separation. It's like, and that's how the twins' flames heal, is in separation. They do their deepest healing in separation. So this is the cold season has ended. The door is opening. The loop's complete. The loop's complete, and this is a fresh start. A fresh start. Right? So each twin would have gone through a huge transformational process, right? And then they're different. They're different than what you knew them as. And that's the Fool, starting fresh. So what's the soul lesson being completed or offered for liberation? And this is the burden of carrying unspoken weight is ready to fall. Your priestess, your high priestess self has been holding the truth in silence of this connection. And now it can be set down, right? It can be set down. So your knowing is complete. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to go into this doubt and duality. Is it my twin or is it not my twin? It's like you can set it down, the knowingness. And that's the thing with the twin, right? Is you just know. If somebody asks you, is that my twin? And immediately, I know. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to defend it. When it's the false twin, it's the back and forth, right? The back and forth. So this is like knowingness. So it's time to put down the burden of is this my twin or not my twin? You know that this is your twin. So just rest in it, rest in that frequency. So how can you honor this activation while staying rooted in your own embodiment? Then this is like to own how far you've come, how far you've grown, right? Since meeting your twin. And that's the other sign when you meet your true twin is you heal, right? You heal. The false twin you don't heal. But as soon as you activate your twin flame and you activate, healing starts. Healing starts. So you want to claim the victory of truth, right? And you're walking out, you're walking in visible radiance now with the Six of Wands. So you want to lead with frequency, with your frequency, not force. And the reunion may come, but your self-recognition is already here, right? You're resting and within yourself is the Empress, right? The Divine Feminine. So if this is your true twin flame, you're exiting karmic contracts and you're entering soul truth. So this connection may still be invisible, but it's becoming clearer in frequency and cleaner in the field, right? And then if this is your false flame, for a wrap up, then the illusion of devotion without reflection is coming is coming to an end, and it's restoring you to the frequency of truth. Okay. And okay, so let's go to the types, and we'll start off with the projectors. The projectors got the Ten of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles here. Okay, so what needs to die? Ten of Swords. So you've done playing the martyr. You've done waiting, watching quietly while someone else avoids their reflection. And so the betrayal, the Ten of Swords is like it's already happened. Your betrayal, feeling betrayed, it's already happened. Ten of Swords, it's over. So there's nothing left to revive. So stop reliving the ending, accept the death. And so this is letting the cycle collapse. Whatever cycle that you're in is let it collapse. And let your mind stop trying to fix what drains you, right? And let yourself get honest about what you've been overextended on, what you've overinvested in, and remained unseen, unrecognized. So what wants to rise with you is Nine of Pentacles. So whatever that is for you, projectors, it's coming to an end. So what wants to rise is your sovereignty, right? The Nine of Pentacles, your self-sourced power. So this is your the part of you that doesn't need to chase or prove or wait, right, for an invitation. This is the end of codependent energetic broadcasting. So you're designed to be invited into truth and not to earn breadcrumbs from distorting yourself. So this card is your aura reset. So you want to choose peace, right, over punishment, choose solitude over psychic noise, and choose value that starts in your field, right? The value starts with you. And remember, with the projector, they yearn for recognition, to be recognized and then invited. It's like, well, projectors forget that they have to recognize themselves first, right? So you want to unplug from cycles that feed on you. And this is, they want your attention. Everybody loves to be with a projector. They want your attention, but they don't want your guidance. That's a low quality invitation. So you want to unplug from those cycles. This is a cycle that you've been in. And withdraw your light from the false mirror, from the false mirrors. Right? You want, because you're not seeing your value. You're not seeing your value in these people. What they're mirroring back to you is your low self-value. So you want to choose the quiet of your own garden over the chaos of being half seen and not valued and not recognized. So you don't need closure. You don't need to make a big pronouncement, I'm done with you. You just need alignment to be aligned with your power as a projector. Okay, and then who's up next on the slide deck? The MGs. So the manifesting generators have the Ace of Cups reversed and the Three of Cups, and then the Three of Swords. So 3 popped out here. So what's bleeding under the surface? What's bleeding under the surface for the MGs? Well, you've been pouring from an empty cup, because it's reversed, right? And you've been calling it love. So you're initiating connection, celebration, even reunions, but at the expense of your inner energy. About your inner energy. So you're depleted. You're trying to give to other people with an empty cup. So, and calling it love, right? And it's the Three of Cups, so it's your community. It's your community, the people around you. And so what looks like joy might just be escapism. You're in robotic mode. Well, this is just what I do, right? It's the false light grid. I just give and give and give. Meanwhile, you're like, you got to tune into yourself. I got nothing to give. I'm empty. I'm depleted. Right? So this is so not all the community is nourishing you. the people that are around you, and you've been getting this message. I feel like deja vu here. You're getting the message that this is not your fractal line. It's not your fractal line, and they're not nourishing you. So you may be surrounding yourself with people and projects or social highs to distract you from the core wound, right? If that Three of Swords next door. So this can signal celebration, but in this spread, it's more like buffering the pain. It's buffering your pain with connection that doesn't go deep, right? So you've been surrounded by these superficial people, MG, and they're not for you. But this is if I stay busy, the MGs love to be busy. If I stay busy, I won't feel what's missing. I'm going to run, and escape from my feelings. And then when I stop, my body breaks down and I have to stop, right? Because your body's like, enough already. It's time to feel. Then you feel this wound of like this, I'm not in the right fractal. I'm not in the right environment. It's not right for me. So what's trying to heal but keeps getting delayed is this. You keep putting this off. And this is the Three of Swords reversed. So you've been betrayed, right, by these Three of Cups people. You've been abandoned, but you won't name it, right? False light grid. Got to be the nice girl, got to be polite. I can't be negative, right? You won't name it. Instead, you downplay it, you numb it out, you spiritualize it. And this card reverse says you're not healing yet. You're just avoiding the collapse, right? So the heartbreak isn't the problem. It's your resistance to feeling it. That's the problem, MGs. So you want to stop spiritual bypassing your heartbreak with movement. And stop calling false joy connection. That's not deep connection. You want to return to your body. And if it doesn't fill me up, I'm not pouring. So look at your social events. Am I running? Like check in with your motivation. Am I running? Am I distracting myself from feeling? Right? Or is this a true connection? Is there equal exchange of the cups, right? So this is you're depleted. So you want to really tune into your body. If your body's exhausted, then it's showing you to stop running. It's time to stop running. Okay. Okay. And let's go to the next one, which is who's on the deck here? The Manifestors. So the Manifestors got the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands reversed here. So your power's online, it says here. It's totally online. This is clean, directive, embodied fire. So you've got the vision, Manifestors. You've got the presence, right? You have the presence, and you're stepping into your role as one who initiates from alignment, not from ego. But then you got the Queen of Wands reversed. So this is your carrying shame, right? So this is a fractured inner feminine here. And so your receptivity is mistrusting, it's insecure. So this is like you're trying to lead from your willpower, and you're burned out. You're doubting your magnetism, so you overcompensate. And this is the power couple archetype, right, within you. And it's not in union, right? So your fire is working, like you're online. You're connected to your fire, but your radiance is guarded. So you lead well, but you don't let yourself be seen in your softness, So this can be, in terms of relationships, we could look at it like this too. It means you could be chasing somebody that won't rise. So you're the king, right? And they're playing at being the queen. So you initiate, they mirror, but it's hollow. So this is stop projecting power onto someone who hasn't earned the title. Stop trying to wake someone who dims you and makes you small. Okay? And who's next here? The Generators. Oh, and look, there's that Queen of Wands. She's upright this time. Okay. So Hermit reversed. So this means that you're not isolating, like this isn't solitude generators to heal. You're hiding. High Priestess in hiding here. You pulled back, not to regenerate it, regenerate yourself, fill up your sacral energy. You pulled back because you're afraid to be seen in your power. You've been working on yourself in the cave, but you're stalling. And this is once I'm confident enough, right? Once I get more training, once I feel better about myself, then I'll show up. Once I figure it all out, then I'll act. But gate 43 is not buying it, right? Not buying it this full moon. The insight is already here. You already have the insight. And this card says you're ready. But you're scared of what it might cost you to rise in your power. And so the Queen of Wands is like you're already lit, right? The fire's already lit. You don't need permission. You don't need one more sign. You don't need one more healing round. You're sitting on a field of magnetic truth, and the only thing holding back is your refusal to own it, to step into your power. So you're the light, but you're still acting like it's dangerous to shine. So you've outgrown the cave. You've outgrown the waiting. You've outgrown the energetic contortions to fit in. And now it's about being so embodied in your frequency that the right things show up to meet you. Okay, so stop hiding behind healing. That's what this is saying. Like you're being fake here, right? I'm healing. I'm in my cave. It's like, no, that's all fake. You got the power generators. Okay, and then to finish off, and there's that devil. The devil showed up at the last minute here with the reflectors. And the reflectors really represent all the human design types, right? It's like the wrap up here. Okay. So we got the devil reversed for the reflectors and the Four of Wands. So this is you're cutting the cord, reflectors. You're cutting the cord to the false light grid. So you've been trapped in a role, a relationship, or a system that reflects everything but your truth. So maybe it once felt like home, right? Maybe it mirrored your potential at one time, but deep down you know it's manipulation. It's not true resonance. So you're hooked on validation. That's what this is saying, and not frequency, right? So the card reverse says exit door. This is the exit door. So you're unplugging from the matrix for real this time. The devil represents the system, right? The false light matrix. So Four of Wands is saying your real home is ready, but you got to walk away. So here's the breakthrough. When you drop the false connection, the true soul community lands, the true mirror lands, the true partnership lands, the true celebration lands, but only after the devil clears. So you don't get the Four of Wands without leaving the trap. It's time to leave the trap. So you're not meant to mirror this distortion anymore that you're in. You're in the wrong environment. That's what this says. You're meant to anchor joy, sacred stability, real union, and clean resonance. So remember that you're not here, reflectors, to reflect a wounded world. You're here to show us what heaven on earth could actually look like, and that's the true light grid. Okay, so that's what I have. And just a reminder, the Awakening the Divine Feminine Lilith Retreat, May 16th to the 18th. Check the information box below to learn more. And that is 10 days away. I'm very excited about it. Lots of interesting teachings are coming through with this Lilith. Okay? So I will see you on Tuesday. Sat Nam Aloha, everybody.